Road to Indy returns, a look at one of Indy's fastest young lions.
I think a lot of people from any racing series, from any newspaper, and any announcer said that race in Texas was absolutely one of the best races they've ever seen. It was a wheel-to-wheel, full tilt and boogie, pull your guns out and go to town. I mean, it was a race. I guess the first memory I have of wanting to drive a race car was probably third grade. Everybody watched Speed Racer, and I always fantasized about being Racer X. You know, the guy that snuck into the Indy 500 when the green flag fell, started at the back of the field, won the race, and then disappeared. I just had always dreamed about it and wanted to do it.
For some, his boyish good looks and charming smile might be a bit deceiving. But for this successful Texas businessman, who could very easily live off the Texas marina that he owns and operates, racing was something that he simply had to take a shot at.
I used to work from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night and come home and go to bed at 10, and I'd set my alarm clock at 2 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays because they'd show racing repeats on ESPN. And I remember this little voice popped up, well, if you think you're so good at that, why don't you just go do it? And I couldn't, for the life of me, find a reason why I shouldn't do it.
He set out to achieve that dream, convinced that a bit of training at a driving school would land him his goal, the Indianapolis 500.
The instructor said, well, we want you to all stand up and tell us who you are, where you're from, what you're trying to do here with the school. And I stood up and said, well, my name's Greg Ray. I'm an entrepreneur from Dallas, Texas. I've never been in a race car, but I want to win the Indy 500. And 40 people laughed their butt off. Lo and behold, by the end of the 3 days, I won the school race.
Undaunted by his high expectations, Ray set out to meet those goals, and in 1992 was rewarded with an SCCA Formula 4 2000 championship. But as the young warrior advanced through the ranks, his dream began to stall.
You only get 1 or 2 chances where people really are going to notice you. If people start to associate you at the back of the pack, how are you going to get opportunity?
In 1997, Greg Ray made a decision that would affect the rest of his life. He hooked up again with his longtime partner Thomas Knapp and joined the IRL. The arrangement brought them to Indianapolis in May.
It's a big place, and it's so historic. Everything you look at, you've seen it on TV for years, you've seen it in the magazines, you've seen it on the front page of the newspaper. It's just this total historic Gothic place. And I remember driving in between turns 3 and turn 4, and there was a linen truck in front of me. This linen truck comes down, goes through the tunnel, and I'm right behind the linen truck. Hair starting to stand up on my hands and my arms, and I'm looking around going, wow, this is cool. This is it.
But the dream would have to wait a bit longer. On pace to qualify, the team ran out of fuel with just half a lap to go. Ray finally qualified 30th, but the back of the field start led to yet other problems on race day.
I remember when we pulled in and we got out because it started raining pretty big, there was probably 2 or 3 pounds of sand in my car from the start of this race. I mean, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the cleanest, smoothest piece of racing pavement on the planet. When you have 33 ground effects cars running at 220-something miles an hour, it literally picks up everything it can pick up. And it deposits in the back row, I guess, all the cars. I mean, I had sand, I had a beach in my car.
Then a year ago, Ray returned to Indianapolis, again with Thomas Knapp. He chose to wait for better track conditions as Billy Boat set the pole speed. And with just a little more than an hour left, he took his shot.
Qualify for the center of the front row if he can keep this up. If he can pick it up, then he will right out to the wall.
I really wasn't thinking about pole. And when I was in the race car, I wasn't thinking about pole. I was just thinking about going as fast as I could. I mean, I didn't even look at the speedometer. It didn't matter. and I was going for it.
Driving the wheels off the car, Ray missiled his machine to a front row starting spot, just missing Boat's pole-sitting effort.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Though gearbox trouble eventually knocked Greg out of the race, he did lead his first laps at the Brickyard, and the momentum would carry him into Texas.
Still down to a car length, less than a car length now across the start-finish line. Greg Ray a little higher this time. Last lap in the grass. Greg Ray in the grass.
I think a lot of people, I mean, from any racing series, and any newspaper, and any announcer have said that that race in Texas was absolutely one of the best races they've ever seen. It was, you know, it was wheel-to-wheel, full tilt and boogie, pull your guns out and go to town. I mean, it was a race.
Now about 2 car lengths separating first and second. They flash by now. 199 laps, 200 laps now complete. 8 laps to go. And they have a slow crowd front. Greg Ray has it.
Nice move.
Traffic getting inside. Is it Buzz Calkins? He's your new leader. Greg Ray into turn 3.
They had 100,000 people at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm the hometown boy that sat in the front row of Indy 500. And so a lot of people there were cheering for Greg Ray. I don't think they all realized it was 208 laps, because on lap 200, I was leading. And I think everybody in the grandstands thought I won the race. You know, they all cheered, ah. So we kept on going. They go, what are they doing? They're still going. Why are they still racing? But again, I mean, it wasn't a victory. But that's as close as we've come so far. A second place for our small team was a victory. That was a big boost for the team.
For 1999, Greg Ray joins Team Menard, sliding into the mount once occupied by Tony Stewart. And with crew chief Thomas Knapp once again by his side, victory at Indianapolis is certainly within reach.
Oh yeah, I've seen it 100 times. I think every driver that wins it has seen it 100 times in his mind. You know, I don't know who it's going to be more important to. It's going to be more important to John Menard. It's going to be more important to Greg Ray. It's going to be more important to my mom. You know, all I know is it's, for anybody, it's a very special moment. But yeah, I visualize that, I can see that, and have high expectations.
While Greg Ray captures the championship and wins the Pep Boys Million. It's the first title for Greg and the second for Team Menard.
Everybody in these bright yellow shirts with Glenn T. Menard believed in it, and Tom Knapp believed in it, and we all hung in there. We didn't change what we did, and you know, it'd been nice to win the race tonight. I think we could have made some calls that might have done that, but I tell you what, the championship is the biggest thing, and this is great.
The crisp November night in downtown Indianapolis has a festive feel, and for good reason. Nearly $3 million in prize money is to be distributed to the teams and drivers of the Pep Boys Indy Racing League. The biggest winner of the night, Team Menard and Greg Ray. The bounty for capturing the season championship is the Pep Boys $1 million bonus.
I dreamed of driving IndyCar since I was a little boy. Didn't start racing of any kind until I was 25, and to actually achieve some of your dreams that you have as children when life is new and exciting is very special. And you never know when these things come along. They're very hard to come by, so I may never win another race, but I can always cherish this.
It's really an honor to receive this and to win it again. It just makes my heart just kind of pitter-patter. I really appreciate being a part of the Indy Racing League. I appreciate the vision we had all these years to see this coming better and better every year, and I know it's going to be better and better next year. Thanks.
I got this check to both of you. You can divide it up.
I better put my hands on that now.